Continue our coverage of the Austrian Open with the final. Timo Boll up against the #1 seed WALDNER of Sweden. Timo Boll, there he is, the 20-year-old German, world ranked 14, up against the veteran WALDNER, who is really one of the legends of the game. World's #1 on and off between 1989 and October 1997. A fantastic career which has brought him a gold medal at Barcelona and a silver medal at the last games in Sydney. Now the one worry for WALDNER is this morning in the semi-finals against Trinko Keen, he was taken to 5 sets and he was having a lot of trouble with an injury. It looked as though ligaments or maybe a muscle around the rib cage underneath his the bat arm. Obviously he's going to will have had a lot of physio between then and now, but I just caught the edge. I think it's going to change the way he plays. Basically he was having trouble swinging with the big forehand, drives. And he actually was very clever against Trinko Keen. He virtually switched his entire play to backhand and still managed somehow to win in spite of having 5 match points against him.
Yes, and already in this game, Brian, you can see that he's not going completely through with his shot. The follow-through on the forehand is not there at all. So just trying to hang in there. What a fantastic shot by Timo Boll. Away from the table, comes forward with a defensive shot and then plays it down the line, topspin winner. And you can see he's standing pretty much towards the center of the table, so wanting to cover a lot of table with his backhand, which is generally not the case with WALDNER.
See, that was a very tentative forehand, didn't try to put any effort into it. But he's still got fantastic control of the bat, the angles that he can generate, but I mean, this is not what you need for a final against a player as good as Timo Boll.
Oops.
Well, he hasn't done that too many times in his career. He loses the first game to just 1.
Well, that was a very quick game. I think maybe 2 or 3 minutes long. And WALDNER loses it 1-11. It's doubles champion.
Timo Boll actually won Brazil last year, and as you mentioned, was runner-up at the Dutch. Well, the crowd is unduly subdued for this final because I think they realise that WALDNER is in serious trouble.
The return from WALDNER hits the net, and Timo Boll not able to play the second forehand topspin.
I mean, basically, if Boll can just keep it on the WALDNER forehand side, well, that's the hardest he's hit a forehand. And even that was controlled.
Yep. It's very difficult for him to control this one.
You see how he's got his back very stiff. He's almost protecting the right side of his body. The semi-finals, he actually got a yellow card. First time I've seen that. He threw his racket up, his bat up in the air in frustration and dropped it. And the chair umpire just pulled out a yellow card.
We've seen coaches getting yellow cards and a red card, haven't we, Brian? Tamara Boris has got a couple of times last year. He's
36 years of age now, and even after Sydney, many people thought that Waldner might retire.
Maybe he's got another incentive, Brian. The Grand Finals will be held in Stockholm, Sweden, which will be in January 2003. Of course, a long, long way to go for all the players to try and accumulate enough points to be there, because it's only the top 16 players who will qualify. And it's too soon to start talking of qualifying for the Grand Finals, but reaching the finals here in Austria won't do his standing any harm at all.
Just excellent placement.
Oh, what a shot.
The backhand, no problem. And it's not always easy to play against a player who's wounded.
Yeah, you're always thinking that he's just going to give it to you, or he's going to make a lot of unforced errors. And when that doesn't happen, you sometimes tend to panic and wonder what to do.
Waldner's going to come up with a few tricks to stay in this.
Timo Boll played that one to the center of the table. Oh, beautiful shots from Boll. Getting down so low to play those forehand topspins.
Well, he hasn't actually been rubbing that right side of his rib cage.
Boll was squaring up to play that forehand topspin, and at the very last second decided to play the chop return, which goes long.
Sympathetic applause for Waldner. I'm trying to check his shirt to see whether there's any sign of strapping. I wouldn't be surprised if he was quite strongly bandaged.
You can see that he could hardly bend to pick up the ball.
Game point for Timo Boll. Well, that's it. So very quickly, Timo Boll is 2 games to love up in this final. It's a long way back for Jan-Ove Waldner. Third game. This men's final in Austria. Well, he was so slow to that. Oh, he can hardly move.
He can hardly move.
And he's going to take a timeout. He's not doing much. He's not sort of having any physio. He's not sort of massaging himself. But in the semi-final, consistently he was rubbing that. I think the cold spray is not going to do that much. Oh, look at the strapping there. No wonder he could hardly move. There was not much point rubbing it because he wouldn't get anything through there.
Any rib injury or stomach muscle pulls or anything like that, you can hardly breathe. I mean, even when you breathe deeply, it kind of hurts. And it's impossible to play.
The area he was rubbing in the semi-finals was just under the armpit, and he's going to concede. He can't continue. Well, I'm sure he would have loved to have taken out this Pro Tour event, but really there's no point doing any unnecessary damage and putting in jeopardy the rest of the year. So a disappointing result for the fans and for Jan-Ove Waldner. Timo Boll gets his second